Alright, give me a second. This is loading. Alright, so it just so happens that I think the very first problem is probably the most difficult to get. So we'll just talk about it. So E, we're going to make E equal eastbound and W equal westbound. Okay. An eastbound car is going 4 miles per hour faster than a westbound car. The cars are 208 miles apart, 2 hours after passing each other on a highway. What is the speed in miles per hour of the eastbound car? Like I said, to me, this is one of the more difficult ones. But it says the eastbound car is equal to the westbound car plus 4 miles per hour. Okay, the westbound car is going 4 miles per hour faster than the eastbound car. So it says you go 208 miles for 2 hours. Well, if you divide that, it gives you 104 miles per hour, or miles over hours, which is the same thing. So what we're going to do is, so it says that the two cars, what is the speed per hour of the eastbound car? So here's how we're going to do it. So the east plus the west car equals 104 miles per hour. But we're going back to this little formula we have up here, and it has E equals W plus 4. So we're going to replace that here. And what happens is you add those two together, you get 2W plus 4 equals 104. Subtract 4, 2W equals 100. And divide by 2, and you get W equals 50. Now a lot of people will stop there, but it asks for the eastbound car, so you're going to plug it back into this equation right here, and 50 plus 4 equals 54. Like I said, to me, I think that's the hardest question on the whole thing, but we'll keep going. This is the practice test number 1, by the way. All right, number 2. If a man walks at a rate of 2 feet per second, how many minutes will it take for him to walk 400 or 4,320 feet? So, you do 4,320 feet divided by 2 feet, and then there's 60 seconds in a minute, so you get 36. Okay. This one right here, x squared minus 5x minus 1 equals 0. And it gives you all these answer choices, and we are, I'm going to show you the best way to do it. I'm going to do 2 different ways. So you can graph it, x squared, so let's see here, x squared minus 5x minus 1. Alright, so we're going to graph this, and hit graph, and it's going to cross the, it's going to cross at 1, 2, 3, 4, a number 5 and a decimal, so, I can't click that, there we go. So it crosses right here at negative 0.1515, and then we're going to go all the way over. Come on. .227. There. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of those answer choices, mode, get out. If you need a graphing calculator, you can come borrow one of mine. We're going to type each one of those answer choices into the calculator and see which one gives us the closest one to 5.227. So if you need to do a fraction, you go to second y equals, oh, nope, sorry, I lied to you, alpha y equals, and you do fraction. And then, so this one was 5 minus the square root of 29, so 5 minus second square root of 29 over 2. That's not it. Well, I guess, let's go back to the graph real quick, make sure I don't want to teach you wrong. Let's check both answers. So 5.227 or negative 0.15. All right, so this first one is close. So let's keep an eye on that one. Let's see if that's a possibility. Negative 5 square root of 20 plus negative 5 plus second square root 29. No, that's not it. Because we're looking either for positive 5.227 or negative close to 0.15. So this one's close. So let's go to the next one. 5 plus square root of 29. 5 plus second square root 29. 10 point, nope, not close. Negative 5 plus square root of 29 over 2. All right, so if you hit second, enter, it brings up the last problem you did. If you keep hitting it, and you keep hitting it, it will bring up the ones you did previously, and you can go back and change them. So we're going to change this to a plus, and we're going to go right here in front of this negative 5. If you hit second, insert, you can put something in front of that. So negative 5 plus square root of 29, so we're going to see what that gives us. Positive 0.19, we don't want that. So now the last but not least, we're going to do negative 5 minus second square root of 29, hit enter, boom. So the closest one to our where we graphed it at is going to be the very first answer. So we are looking at A is our answer. All right, next one. 5 minus 7x equals 2. We're just solving this by hand. So 56 minus 7x equals 2. So we're going to move the 56 to the other side first. Negative 7x equals negative 54, and then divide both sides by negative 7. Negative divided by negative is a positive, so you're just looking at 54 over 7. All right. Exponent rules. When you have a number raised to an exponent, here's what I want you to do every time. You take that number and you put it in parentheses. So negative 6, and it's raised to the second power, right? Yes. There we go. So that's going to be your number, 36. Negative 6 raised to the second power is 36. Make sure you keep it in parentheses. When you raise an exponent to another exponent, you multiply them. So it's going to be x to the 8th. All right. The graph of the line of the equation equals 7x plus 8 when crosses the x-axis when. All right. So we're going to go back to the graphing. So y equals 7x plus 8. Graph. So I look here at my line here again. It's negative 1 point something. So let's look at, first of all, look at all my answers. Positive, that can be an option. Positive, positive. So these two are my only options. So I'm going to go back to my calculator. Excuse me. And you get alpha y equals, gives you a fraction. negative 8 over 7. I'll have to, so do negative 8 divided by 7 then, since it wants to give you a negative 1.14, and then the other one was negative 7 divided by 8, negative 0.875. So we want the one that's over 1, because as you can see on the graph, it is slightly over negative 1, not before it. So it is going to be B. Crosses the x-axis. All right. Find the value of x minus y when x equals negative 2 and y equals negative 3. So anytime you plug something in, always plug it into parentheses all over negative 2. And then so we're going to do the same thing. Alpha y equals fraction parentheses negative 2 parentheses minus parentheses negative 3 parentheses negative 2, and hit enter. Negative 1/2. Come back here, and negative 1/2 is our answer. Alright, this one is not hard necessarily, but it does take a while to do. So first thing you're going to do is you are going to, I'm going to rewrite this right here so that we have plenty of room. Alright, so first thing, multiply, this 2 is the last thing you're going to do on the outside. So you're going to multiply this times both of these, FOIL it. So you're going to get 4x squared minus 4x, 2 times x and 2 times negative 1, you're going to get plus 2x minus 2. Combining like terms in here, you're going to combine negative 4x and 2x, so you're going to get 2 4x squared minus 2x minus 2, and then you're going to distribute 8x squared minus 4x minus 4. And so look up here, 8x squared minus 4x minus 4, B is your correct answer. Adding and subtracting fractions, just do it in your calculator. Like, there's no reason to mess around here. Alpha y equals 1 over 4 plus alpha y equals 1 over 5. So I think I left off, just put the fractions in the calculator. Don't try to like do it by hand. Hit enter. 9 out of 20. And so C is our correct answer. Alright, so solve 1/3 x minus 2/3 equals 4. You can solve this, and that's good. Or you can also just take these answers and plug them in. So I'll show you how to do both. So first, if I have clear this, alpha y equals 1 over 3 parentheses, what's the first number? 6 minus 2/3. So minus alpha y equals 2 over 3. It should equal 4. It equals 4/3. I'm going to do the other whole numbers so I don't have to keep going back and forth between fraction and stuff. So I'm going to do 10 and 14 next. Remember, you hit second enter. Now we can go back and change this to 10. Second insert allows you to put something in afterwards. 8/3. Go back, change that to 14. Ah, good. So the whole numbers work. So 14 is the one that worked. Now, if you don't want to plug in the answer choices, So you're going to solve this just like you would any other equation. And it's easier with since you have a calculator, so you're just going to add 2/3 to both sides. And so in your calculator here, you're going to do 4 plus alpha y equals 2/3. Get 14/3. So now we got 1/3 x equals 14/3. To get rid of a number in front of x, you divide. So we're going to do divided by alpha y equals 1/3, and we get 14. So either way is acceptable, or you can do, it wouldn't be too bad. This one, if you see one like this and you have to add and subtract variables, it is, you can't do it in the calculator, but it's not that bad. So when you, in order to add and subtract fractions, you have to have a common denominator. So all you're going to do is multiply top and bottom by whatever this denominator is. So y times this, and you multiply top and bottom by whatever this denominator is. X. Now put them in order, so I'm going to do ry over xy minus 3sx over xy. And then you're going to put them, it's subtraction, but the denominators stay the same, so you're going to put them all over the same denominator. You can't combine these, so it's just going to be ry minus 3sx. So D is your correct answer. The common denominator is key there. A line with the slope 3 passes through the point 0, 10. A line with the slope 3 passes through the point 0, 10. What is the y-coordinate of the point on the line with the x-coordinate 2? Alright, so this one is going to be, I'm going to do this one a little different. You can do this with like an equation, but I'll be honest with you, you're probably not going to remember how to do the equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this point, 0, 10. So you go over 0, up 10. So it's right there. Now, it says it has a slope of 3. So let's get this. Here. Oh, I forgot my. All right. So here's what we're doing from here. I should have made this bigger in the first place, but it's all right. So 10 is right here, and I'm going to make about 8 more marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go ahead and do 10 more. 9, 10. All right, so here's how we're going to do this problem. This problem might go a little bit quicker, like I said, if you use the formula, but like I said, you're just not going to remember the formula in the middle of the test. So I'm going to try to teach you this way. All right, so we got the point 0, 10. So you got to know what slope is. That's key. So slope with 3. So we're trying to figure out what the next point is. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3 over 1. So right here. And we're going to put over 1 right here. So what that tells us is this point right here is 113. We're looking for the y-coordinate that has the x-coordinate too. So we're going to do it again. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3 over 1. This x-coordinate is 2 now, so there we go. And then we're just going to count up to how far we went up, 16. So what is the y coordinate of the point on the x coordinate with the x coordinate 16? If they said the x coordinate 3, we would have done it again. We just kept doing it until we went up and over until we got into whatever x coordinate we needed to. All right. Solve the system. All right. So systems. This one is a little bit of a process, but it goes by pretty simple once you get it. We're going to do matrices with this instead of teaching you how to solve it. So you are going to go to math. Give me a second to make sure I remember how to do this. No. You're going to go to second matrix, and you are going to go to edit. Now, a matrix is rows by columns. A matrix is rows by column. Okay, so 2 rows, 1, 2, 3 columns. So it's going to be 2 by 3. All right, and then we're going to put our numbers. Whatever numbers in front of the variables which you put in, there's no number, so it's going to be 1. So 1, hit enter, take you to the next one. Then 4, hit enter, take you to the next one. And then the last number, 1. And then you start over. Bottom row. -1. Make sure you hit negative and not. And then 1. And then 4. Okay, so you have your matrix put in. You're going to hit second, quit, and you're going to get out. Okay, you're going to go back to matrix. You're going to go to math, and you are, give me a second, I may get this wrong at first. All right, so then you're going to scroll down to, down here is going to say RREF. You're going to select that. Then you're going to go back to second matrix under names, and you're going to select the first matrix. Okay, it should be 1, 0, then the answer, 0, 1, then the answer. This first one is the X answer, as long as you put the X in first. The second answer is the Y answer. Because in this equation, the reason that is because the X came first and the Y came first. It says, what is the X coordinate? So let's go back and look at it again. -3. So B is your correct answer. Okay. All right. A rectangular field is enclosed by 360 feet of fencing. What is the length in feet of the field if it is 6'4"? So this one you want to draw a rectangle. So it says the length is 6 feet more than its width. Well, we don't know what its width is, so we're going to label it X. Okay. It's 6 feet more. So to get 6 more of something, you add. So the length is going to be X plus 6. And all the fence is 360 feet. So we're doing a perimeter problem. So you're adding all these up. So X plus X plus X plus 6 plus X plus 6 equals 360. Add them all together, you get 4X plus 12 equals 360. Subtract 12, subtract 12, you get 4X equals 348. Divide both sides by 4, and you get X equals 348 divided by 4. Now here's the hard part. You got 87. Okay. So a lot of people are going to be like, oh, C is the answer, but it asks for the length. 87th is just the width, so we got to plug 87 into here. 87, or it doesn't matter, 87 plus 6 is 93. So 93 is going to be your answer. 15, combine like terms. So you're just combining like terms. So it's going to be 6x squared minus 6x plus 4. This is a subtraction sign, so it changes everything afterwards. So it's going to be minus x squared plus 5x plus 9. Combine the x squared, you get 5x squared. Those are done. Combine the x's, you get negative 1x. Those are done. And then combine the numbers, you get 13. So 5x squared minus 1x plus 13. Simplify. There's no variables, so you're just going to put it in the calculator exactly the way it's written. Negative 6 squared minus 4 squared. You're going to get 20. What is the perimeter in feet of a rectangle whose length is twice its width and whose width is 5 feet? All right, so this one is easier. They told us what the width was. They said the width is 5 feet, and it says the length is twice. So this is like a multiplication when you're talking about twice or 3 times or 4 times. So twice the length of 5, 2 times 5 is 10. And to find the perimeter, you add them all up. Now be careful, you may get an area problem, so you need to you'll multiply for area, but perimeter, you just add them all up, and you get 30. 18, a simplifying problem. So when there's a number outside, you distribute. So here, so you're gonna get 25 minus 10x. This is a negative, so don't forget to distribute the negative. Negative 8 plus 12. Whoop, messed up there. Negative 8 plus 6x. I don't know why I couldn't get that out. So do the variables first. Negative 10 and 6, you get negative 4x. There's only one equation with negative 4x in it, so you know the answer. But just to finish it out, 25 minus 8 is 17. D is your correct answer. All right. Ooh, this one's a good one because people forget to do the first step first, and they get it messed up. So remember, when we have a number on the outside, we're doing that last. X minus 1 squared, what it means to square something is to multiply by itself. So we are going to do this first, then multiply by the 4x. So FOIL. So you're going to get 4x is on the outside. So x times x is x squared minus x. Negative 1 times x, negative x. Negative 1 times negative 1 plus 1. So you're going to have 4x, combine like terms, x squared minus 2x plus 1. And now distribute the 4. So you're going to get 4. When you multiply two variables together, you add their exponents. So 1 plus 2 is 3 minus 8x squared. 4x times 1 is plus 4x. And B is your answer. All right, 20. 20 is not that bad, but so anytime you have a fraction and there's addition or subtraction up top, what you can do is you are allowed to break it up into 2 different problems. The denominators stay the same. Okay, so when I break it up, you can move this part to 1 and then this part to 1, but the denominator stays the same. So when you simplify this, 6 divided by 2 is 3. When you divide variables, you subtract their exponents. So 8 minus 2, this is x to the 6th. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and then x squared, they just both cancel out because they're the same. So you should get 3x to the 6th minus 1. There you go. All right, what is the area of a triangle whose vertices are? All right, this problem looks very difficult, but do not miss it because it's not that bad at all. So, first thing, we are going to plot the first point. So negative 4, 0 means you go left 1. 2, 3, 4, and let's use a green dot right here. The next one is negative 10 zeros, so we're going to keep going. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hang on a second. Alright, so we're going to go 0, negative 10. Now this one is you're going to go negative 7, negative 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then down, oops, I should have counted this already. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to go negative 4, 5, 6, 7, and then down here to the bottom, negative 6. Alright, so what's not hard, what's makes this one hard is people just don't draw a picture. So I'm not going to complete the triangle because I don't want to mess it up, but here we go. So to find the area of a triangle, you need the length, or I'm sorry, you do have to remember this. Base times height divided by 2. Okay, so we need the base. So here's the base right here. So we just need to count. Start here and then count. Don't count where you start. You start the very first one afterwards. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the base is 6. And the height, you start here and you count down. Well, you count it down 6. It's still positive because you're just dealing with height divided by 2. So 6 times 6, 36 divided by 2. So you get 18. Um, 22. All right. So solve for x. So this one you have to be able to just work out and solve. So we are getting x by itself. So first thing you have to do is you have to move the 8y to the other side. So you're going to subtract. So I get 9x equals negative 8y plus 36. You can't combine those because one's a y and one's not. And then I'm getting the x by itself, so I'm just going to divide by 9. And I'm going to divide each one of these by 9. So I get x equals negative 8 over 9y. 36 divided by 9 is plus 4. So I'm looking here for negative 8 over 9. So these two both have negative 8 over 9. If you notice, see how it's got 36 there? A lot of people would maybe stop. D is the correct answer. What fraction is the largest? So I'm literally just going to put these in the calculator. Now when I'm dealing with fractions like this and I'm trying to reduce them, don't put them in the alpha y equals because it won't give you a decimal. So 1 over 2 is 0.5. 13 divided by 30. Okay, so 1/2 is bigger. 8 divided by 15. So far, 8 divided by 15 is the biggest. 7 divided by 7 divided by 15 is smaller. You kind of knew that, but because whatever, because 8 over 15 was bigger. So 17 over 30. So 17 over 30 is your biggest fraction. Alright, so once again, we're just solving one of these. 2x plus 4 is greater than 8x minus 8. I'm going to move all my variables to the left and everything else to the right. So I'm going to move my variables first, subtract 8x. So I get negative 6x plus 4 is greater than negative 8. Subtract 4, subtract 4. Negative 6 is greater than negative 12. And like I said, there's different ways to do this. I'm just moving the variables first so that they're on the left, just like the answers. And then divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6. The only trick here is when you divide by a negative number, so negative 6, when I divide it, when the number in front of x is negative, and you divide, you have to flip the sign. So this should be positive. X is less than positive 2. And then, so D is your correct answer. Buyer purchases 20% of 1,200 widgets in the warehouse. The next day, another buyer purchases 10% of the remaining widgets. How many widgets are left in the warehouse? So, all right. So, here we go. A buyer purchases 20% of the widgets in a warehouse inventory. The next day, another buyer purchases 10% of what was left. Well, first of all, we need to figure out how many were left after the first purchase. Well, if they bought 20%, that means 80%. So 0.80 was left. So you're going to do 0.80 times 12,000. So 0.80 times 12,000. So you get 9,600. Okay, that's how many are left because he took it 20%, so that means 80% was left. Well, the next day someone else bought 10% of those. Well, that means that if 10% are gone, that means 90% are left. So we're going to take 0.90 times that number, 9,600, and then that's how many are left. It didn't ask how many were bought, it asked how many were left. So the leftover percentage of after they bought them is how many are left. All right, so find the value. Just do this. Make sure you do this in the calculator. Don't try to like plug it in or do it by hand. So you get -2 parentheses. Make sure anytime you plug a number in for a variable, you put it in parentheses plus -2 squared over, make sure minus 3 -2 enter, and you get +2 as your answer. There we go. Same thing here. Simplify this. It's all numbers, no variables, so we're just doing it in our calculator. So 5 minus, I'm going to use the fraction button again. What was it? 4 minus 7. So 4 minus 7. 5 minus 4. Hit enter. 8 is your answer. All right, what is the greatest common factor of the two terms? All right, so these are kind of not too bad. But, all right, so when you're looking at the greatest common factor, so this has x to the 5th, this has x squared. The most x's they have in common, so if I wrote this all the way out, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Well, the most x's they can have in common are 2 apiece because this is the biggest one. So x squared is one factor. Then look at the y's. What's the greatest number of y's they have in common? This has 2, y squared. This has 7, so 2. So y squared. So C is your answer. Z doesn't have a factor because there's no z over here. So x squared, y squared. And then this one. Okay. Here we go. So first thing you have to do when you do this problem will show up on there. They always love to put it, you have to take out the GCF first. So when I take out the GCF, the most they have in common is 8. So that's going to leave me with x to the 8 plus 16. I can't do anything with this because they're added together, so I cannot take the square root of both of these. I can, however, take the square root of this. When you take the square root of an exponent, all you're doing is dividing it by 2. And so it's going to be x to the 4th, and you bring that outside, because 8 divided by 2 is, and then whatever, I don't know why this got negative, but it's not supposed to be that. And then whatever is left inside is that. So x to the 4th, x to the 8th plus 16. Like I said, you cannot do anything with these because they're added together. Why was I allowed to simplify this? Because when I took out the factor, the GCF, it's now multiplied times this. So now I can take the square root of this, and if there wasn't two things added together, I could take the square root of this, but I can't because they're added together. So I can only take the square root of this, and when you take the square root of a variable, all you're doing is taking the exponent and dividing it by 2. All right, I am finally done. If you have questions, please reach out and email me, and I will try my best. I know our schedules don't match up, so I'll do my best to get back and get you some answers as quickly as possible.